Hey there, welcome to Healthy TV episode number 82. I'm your host, Dr. John McPhee, and on today's show, I'm going to talk about standing desks. Now, there's a ton of messaging out there about how great standing desks are, and I'm a huge proponent of standing desks, but they need to be used correctly. And so on today's show, I'm going to talk about some of the pitfalls that come from standing desks, and is it really that much better than sitting? Well, the answer, it turns out, is a little bit more complicated. What I'd love to know first is, if you have a standing desk, just comment below, say, yes, I have one. And I'd like to know what your experience has been. So I'm just trying to collect a bit more data myself. Those people that I speak to, there's kind of, most people seem to really like them, but some people have had some problems. And so I'm just trying to get a handle on what people's experiences are, and we can hone in on why those individuals are actually experiencing problems. So comment below, and I may follow up with a few additional questions, all right? Now, I think I've covered this so many times on the show, but we know now that the negative effects of sitting are pretty damaging, right? They actually lead to a lot of chronic health problems. In fact, people that sit for more than 6 hours a day actually die younger. Okay, so it has a huge impact on our health overall. So we want to try and get people doing things other than sitting. But what the research actually points to is not so much that we're sitting, is the fact that you're not moving in the time that you're sitting. So when we get up to stand and we're at a standing desk or standing station, that's an improvement for sure. Like, there's no question that's a huge improvement. But the problem is, if we don't take advantage of that easier accessibility to movement, then we can end up with some of the same problems, at least from a musculoskeletal perspective. So if we just go, put it another way, if you just go from like sitting statically, so you're just like not moving when you're sitting, and you go to standing and not moving, there's really only a marginal improvement there. Where the benefit really comes from is that when you're standing, you tend to move more. So if you're standing at your desk and you're like doing some hip shifts, okay, or you're doing some circles with your hips, maybe you're marching on the spot, that's a great thing to do, or you're just taking a moment to like squeeze your glutes and push your hips forward, or maybe, just like take a 10-second break and just like do some like basic calisthenics stuff that you did back in elementary school. Those types of movements are really what's going to save your body. That's what's going to provide you with the greatest benefit from using a stand-up desk. Now, here's a couple of extra cues or tips, some kind of pro tips. All I want you to think of if you're at a standing desk is, I want you to get equal weight through both feet. So just literally just cue in for a second, like, do I feel like I have equal weight, or do I feel like I'm shifted to one side? Because that shift to one side, that can actually create a bunch of shifting it really is creating shifting in your pelvis, which then can create shifting through your spine, and that is not a good sign. That's not a good thing, okay? If you find that you're always ending up shifting to one side, you're like, every time you realize, oh man, my right hip has popped out, then that likely indicates there's an underlying shift in the pelvis or in the spine, and that's just like your comfort zone, okay? But you're gonna create damage over the long term, so you definitely wanna get that checked out. All right. The other thing is that I want you to use I think this is a great tip. Someone else at one of the businesses I was in actually shared with me this one, is that actually use the reflective nature of the screen if you're using that to take some cues as to like where your head is at in space. So that was like a lot of fancy words, but basically you're just going to check out your reflection in the screen and make sure, like, okay, is your nose lined up with your chest? Okay, or are you like this? Okay, and then if you can get like a side profile, or even just pay attention to, are you ended up kind of in that rounded position? If so, just tuck the chin in, draw the shoulders back, reset, and then go back to your job, go back to your work. All right, so hopefully those couple of tips help. I would love to know if you have any other tips or strategies, if you've got a desk yourself, if you found, if you're using an anti-fatigue mat or maybe one of the wobble boards. I personally haven't played around too much with those things, so I'd love to know what your experience has been like so that I can share with the people that I'm helping. All right, so comment below, but also follow along all week, because I'm going to be sharing exercises that are perfect to do at your desk, whether you're sitting or standing. Okay, so just check in all throughout the week on our Facebook page, and I'll be giving you some great exercises to follow along with all week. Okay, have a great week, and I will see you all next Monday.